What up, guys? We're gonna start this episode. Real life ghost stories. 10 of these ghost stories that we got from Reddit. Just gonna start it off. If you guys have any other stories you guys would like to submit, just go to our bio and check out our email and just send us some stories, and we might be able to talk about them in the next episode. Alright, for the first episode, it's about a doppelganger. I don't know if you guys know what doppelgangers are. Those are real. That's really actually creepy. I could not imagine seeing like another sexy, handsome guy looking like me on a train somewhere. Shit be wild. I'm like, what, bro? Is that you? Is that me? All right. So story was told by Quiet Voice 4846. All right. Starts off late at night. I usually go to the bathroom multiple times. But for the past 4 days, every time I go leave, I can see myself standing still in the mirror from the corner of my eye. It's like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to a point where I almost run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about it because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Kind of weird. Alright, she goes on to say, Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed while he sat in a chair next to me watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl backward to the edge of the bed and stand up in the front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. He thought it was weird that I got up like that because I'm in the last month of my pregnancy and I can't really move so good without hurting. So he tried talking to me. This is weird. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to find me not there and still sleeping in the bed. I got really creeped out, and when I finally told him about what I have been seeing in the bathroom, he thought it was really creepy as well, but didn't want to really talk about it anymore because he thinks it will give whatever the power it is or energy. I have no idea what it is or wants or why we both saw it. That's a little weird. I don't know. That's not really a doppelganger story. I heard like real doppelganger stories before, but I guess that's alright. It was a little weird. Their writing was bad, so if I'm reading it like this, the grammar's not correct. It's from people from other countries to write in English, translate it. So yeah, this one's a haunted hotel one. Let me drink some water. As told by bright_eyes 10 on Reddit. When I was 15, I traveled to Europe with my family. We stayed in Ethel, Germany, in a small inn for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sister had a double bedroom next to theirs, and I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself at the far end of the hall. We went to check in our rooms. As soon as I entered the hallway our rooms were in, I remember almost feeling as though I walked into a wall of bad energy. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in the hallway, but I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling very uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing. It unnerved me even more than I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus, she was an adult at the time, so it further cemented in my head that the wing of the hotel was odd. That's it? Oh. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully. When it is about 2 a.m., I'm woken by something ripping the covers off of me and being jerked about 2 feet towards the end of the bed by my ankle. At first, I thought someone had broken into my room because when I turned towards when it had grabbed me, a huge looming black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in the room. I frantically flipped the light on, only to have nothing there. The window was locked from the inside. There was no one in the closet or the bathroom, and my room was also still locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night scared, cooking my Mama Diaz. The next morning, we were at breakfast, and my sister mentioned that she was up half the night because she thought she saw a person silhouetted against the wall of her room. But she turned on the lights and there was no one there. It was just bizarre and creepy experience. We checked out that day, so I didn't get to experience anything after that, but it still freaks me out to this day. Oh, scary. That's scary. Alright, next up, we got the rocking horse. Told by her side. Oh, her side. One night when I was 10 or 12, I had trouble falling asleep. My bathroom was an entire top floor of the house, with my bed and such being on the left side of the storage closets and a play area on the right. I was lying in the bed when I heard a noise from the other side of the room, and I saw a rocking horse begin to rock. It was sitting just outside of our storage closet doors. It proceeded to rock its way halfway across the room and stopped dead under the ceiling light. At this point, I was freaking out and just buried my head under my blankets and never peeked out again until the morning. When I woke up, the rocking horse was still in the middle of the room. Furthermore, I got a stern reprimand from my parents for being up out of the bed playing with the toys while just past my bedtime. Their bedroom was directly below the storage closet player and heard creaking, shuffling across the room. It was scary. This one's called Told by Fuzzy Bandit. Alright. When I was a teenager, I used to babysit my cousin Alyssa. She was little, almost 2, maybe a little older. Old enough to say sentences. I'm giving her a bath before bed, and she looks out into the hallway and gets terrified. Look on her face and starts crying. At that moment, my aunt's Pomeranian started going nuts as well as barking and growling into the hallway. The atmosphere in the room became uncomfortable, and I started getting scary. I took her down the stairs. I took her downstairs from the 3rd floor in the townhouse to try and calm her down. I asked her what was wrong, and she said something along the lines of, the man with the black eyes was there. When I continued to pry, she looked up in the 2nd floor stairs, her eyes getting big, and looked at me, bringing her fingers up over her mouth and said, shh, while she's shaking her head no. Oh my God, I got chills. That was scary. That was scary, boys. Alright. Next up, the Trickster. So the Trickster, told by Scarlet Beeswax. Dope name, Scarlet Beeswax. Starts off, I lived in this house with a basement, and every time I walked up the stairs, I would get weirded out, creepy goosebumps feeling on the back of my neck. It didn't make me uneasy to go down the stairs or to be in the basement. My craft room was down there, and I spent a lot of time down there. After a while, I would have items in that I would use disappear when I would look away from them. I would search, and one day I got frustrated, and no one in particular, I said, can I please have my scissors back? I had just looked under the pile of a new mail, and when I turned my head, and there was my scissors on top of the pile of mail. I talked to my neighbor, and she told me that the original owners of the house was a jolly old man who loved to prank people, and he had fallen coming up the stairs one day and died. I think the goosebumps were him trying to tell me to be careful. And every time after that, when something would disappear, I would politely ask for it back, and it would appear in a place that I could not have missed before. Thanks, old man. It was fun. Oh, what the fuck? That's scary. Oh, excuse me. I gotta bleep that out. That was scary. Alright, I want the tenants. My daughter was 4 years old when we lived in our last home. I was a single mom at the time, so it was just she and I alone in the home. I was always got an uncomfortable feeling in her room, particularly the closet area, but never thought much of it. Until one evening, I had put her in a bed and I was doing chores. I walked her down in her room and heard her whispering. I listened for a bit, thinking she was talking to herself, but it was definitely a two-way conversation, with her saying, uh-oh, okay, stuff like that. I walked in and asked her who you're just talking to. She smiled uncomfortably and said, no one. I took her into the hall, and she wouldn't say anything, but I could tell she was afraid. Finally, went outside the house. She said there was a man in her room who didn't want us in the house, and he had told her this and tell her mom to leave. I moved us out a month later, and she was never spoke of it since. Oh my god, scary. Alright, well, we're just gonna end it there, guys. Just 6 videos today. Yeah, I hope you guys liked it, enjoyed it. If you do, share it, hit that like button, subscribe, and we'll check you guys out, or check us out next time. Thanks. And don't let the bugs bite.